Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 87. And we've been doing some interesting things. We've, of course, had the holiday off. We're back and we're back in full force. And Rob, tell me what have you been up to this holiday season?
Holiday season spending, had some time to decompress after the dissertation, which is great. Worked a bunch on changes to the course catalog, which I'm really excited about. If you take a look at oplerno.com and you go on to courses and you take a look at the, you click on courses, you'll see the new catalog, which lists over 30 courses that you can sign up for. We're going to be, each course has its own individual landing page with its own individual URL. And so if you're a faculty member, what you can do is you can look up your class. If it's been approved, we've converted them onto the new course catalog. And what you can do is you can cut and paste that link to your social media. Now, there are a couple things we're going to be adding in the next in the next couple of weeks. One is the start dates. Right now, there are 5 classes whose start dates are in January. And what you can do is you can sign up, you can enroll, or you can also send us a message and then we'll put you on the list to get more information. We still have some things to work out with the catalog, but the basic format is there. And so please take a look at it. If you have a course that you're working on that is and hasn't been completed, right when it gets completed, we create this basic platform for you so you can send it out. If you want to have anything changed, and if you're a faculty member, on the description, I've also gotten a bunch of different calls and emails and have changed different things to add it. We can also add videos if you want onto the landing page, and it's really, really nice. It's been great because I've also had to learn some HTML and some things dealing with Squarespace and e-commerce. One other thing, our new onboarding and keeping track of faculty, our onboarding system. There are new contracts that we've done, new contract templates that we have created with HelloSign. And so if you're a person who's interested in the Oplerno, you're going to be going through a different process than what you went through a year ago in terms of sign up and contract piece and all of that. So that's pretty interesting and exciting about. And finally, so I've been working on that over the vacation. Also, been doing a bunch of running to totally switch, to switch focuses. It's beautiful in Vermont right now. We've had in the 30s Fahrenheit, and now it's actually below. It's about 8 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty cold. But there's been a lot of great, running and a lot of great outdoors activities. So I've been kind of balancing, spending time with family and then also logging on to Oplerno. Oh, last plug. The dissertation draft is on academia.edu. We've gotten a little bit over 150 views and downloads. And if you want to take a look at that, the story of Oplerno and our business model, that's great. I've also gotten replies from 3 different publishers who are potentially interested in publishing, working with me on doing some editing and then publishing this document. And I'll keep you guys informed about that. Thinking about doing that because of it's helping getting the word out about Oplerno. And what I kind of am going to spend a bunch of time, thinking about is, of course, student recruitment and kicking up the notion of Oplerno being a movement and a change force rather than we've been playing it a little bit more conservative in terms of, following the, how do I put this, being corporately polite. And probably we're not going to be doing that for very much longer. So what about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I've actually been in comparison, a reasonably quiet and not so involved a holiday. I spent. Of course, I had my Christmas celebration at home where we had the whole family. I think we eventually had 17 people, 17 people eating. So I was happy in the kitchen. Nobody was disturbing me. I was cooking, just going for it. We had 2 legs of lamb. But that's on the personal side. On the business side, I went off to do my between Christmas and New Year. I went to Germany for my hacking conference, so the Chaos Computer Club conference, or the Chaos Computer Congress, which absolutely brilliant. My mind wasn't as blown as last year, but still mind blowing. Just the type of things that are going on, the type of things that are open on. I had a really good talk with Yasha Levine from Panda Daily. Basically, he's critical of a lot of things which are going on and he's really on the pulse of Tor, which where as you know, we're a fan of. But he's really on the pulse of where are they getting their funding from, which is really good. So I had a good talk about that with him. And of course, I told him to send my love to Paul Ames and to Mark Ames and to Paul Carr and everybody at the team, because we love Pando. I mean, and so we have. What else did I do? Yeah, I think we had a quiet New Year's and basically raring to go again.
What did so Tor? For those people who don't know, is a way in which people can surf the web without being tracked, and it's also used by a lot of groups, reporters and such, for communication. So what sort of where's the funding for Tor, and what did you find out about that? Because that's Tor is a huge backbone for both, I think, for the dark web, but also what an average user can use to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, I mean, Panda's been reporting on it for about 2 years now, but Tor is primarily funded by the same organizations that fund Radio Free Asia and a couple of other organizations, which is the U.S. government. So they get most of their funding from Uncle Sam, and they're really transparent about this. However, there are people who, like Yasha says, there are people who are concerned that the funding that is coming from the U.S. government, even though it seems benign, is actually does seem to promote regime changing and does promote American interests, U.S. interests, not American, U.S. interests in foreign countries, far more than it promotes, say, freedom. I mean, there is a balance between this. I mean, there is the U.S. government, of course, promotes freedom, but there are certain things that they promote which are slightly more and towards U.S. type of systems.
Which suck. I mean, let's just be, let's kind of like be, let's be blunt.
No. I mean, absolutely. A lot of these things, absolutely, a big fan of them. But some of the things, they could be rather restrictive. And so Tor is a way to protect yourself against the more restrictive way that the U.S. government is, of course, working with the NSA and all these other things that we learned last year because of Snowden. But of course, it is being funded by the U.S. government. So I mean, we do have, say, two minds there. We're trying to protect ourselves from perhaps the currently the biggest perpetrator in the world of privacy. Privacy abuse. Yeah. So Pando in their investigation has been completely fair. I mean, I mean, in my opinion, at least, they're being very fair, and they're saying, yeah, listen, there is really a problem, which Tor is creating, which is the same people who fund Tor are the same people who are creating the problem or exacerbating the problem. So this is a very good argument or at least an argument from them, which I got to discuss a little bit. Of course, I'm far more on the technical side. I'm far more hardcore technical.
Now, the source code for Tor, though, is open source.
Yes, yeah.
So you can check to see if there are tons of people who are checking to make sure that there aren't any back doors.
Oh no, but it's not so much the back doors that they're concerned about. Say, for example, if we want to say your opinion of the Iranian government might not be as bad as the U.S. opinion of the Iranian government, but what Tor, for example, is doing is allowing a lot of perhaps people who are not friends of the United States and not friends of the Iranian government, to be active and be undercover in Iran, for example, or in Saudi Arabia, in places which perhaps don't have the same type of democracy or the same type of structure that we have, but do have a slightly different type of freedom than we have. I don't know how to say that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, those, those issues are really tricky. I had dinner with over the vacation just before Christmas, friends who live and work over in China and have for a long time and have worked in Russia, came over and had a great evening with them, and we were talking about the different. We don't get to have a conversation very often where we can really totally exchange our views and ideas, and they're like, they can't even use they can't use Google, but Tor, and there are other things that they're not allowed to use. And we were talking about those different balances in terms of civil society and the tech and who gets to play and who's not, and also mucking around with other people's cultures or countries when you're not from there, and that it would be great if we could all practice the Prime Directive on Star Trek. Like, don't mess with people, and let them sort it out for themselves in their own development. But then, it's real complicated, and it's going to get even more complicated with what we're trying to do in terms of the access to education. Because we already have crazy ideas that are out there that people can take a look at.
Yeah, I know, certainly. I mean, and as giving a platform basically for people who are well founded. I mean, there does have to be scientific basis and does have to be some real policy. But it could be people can basically learn and teach anything that they want within reason. I think with Oplerno, and there is a lot of possibilities for people to be able to work with things such as Tor and with other things, to be able to learn things that perhaps their regime doesn't like, whether it's the U.S. regime or the Iranian regime or whatever, or the Chinese, whoever is the regime de jour. And to be able to learn things and to teach things that they think that are important for their citizens as well, and to be able to have a body such as Oplerno, actually making sure that the value of the education and that is good, and the educators is well trained.
Yep. That's a great way to sum it up. I mean, we're trying to create these new institutions and new systems, and slowly but surely we will get there. I think you want to talk a little bit about. Let me talk about. We really need people to, if you're faculty and you're listening and you've got some courses that that you haven't quite completed yet, please make sure you do. Look forward to. You're going to get in the next couple of days the January update. A December update, a January letter talking about what we're doing the past month and where we're kind of moving over the next 6 months. Daniel and I are working on all kinds of different things along with the faculty to change, again, Oplerno being much more of a movement that other people can join in. We would really welcome any suggestions from those people who are under the age of 30 trying to get an education on all kinds of different subjects, whether it's computer programming, social science, humanities, anything in the physical sciences. And because what we want to do is really, we're going to continue to work on institutional affiliations, but we're also going to go directly to students and directly to young people to give them these tools. In the States, what we're seeing is a lot of, I would call it sort of, the educational model is, in the current models, in big trouble financially. We're seeing that in terms of enrollment numbers, and also cutbacks the corporations are doing in terms of professional development. And we still need people to develop skills and develop certificates and degrees and get those skills so that they can create their own jobs, their own businesses, or also help their employers. And that's something that is going to be successful for us long term. But we'll be sending out more about how we articulate that and what we're and numbers of kind of like a check-in with numbers of courses created, etc., that we're doing. Daniel, are you still there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, my video is a bit playing up a little bit. So.
Okay. So I think that's about it for today, unless you wanted to add anything else.
No, I think I don't need to add anything else, except for, of course, follow us on YouTube, follow us everywhere. I mean, we haven't been saying it often enough, but also spread the word. I mean, if you have whether you're a faculty member or a student, tell other people about us. We live by word of mouth. That's the only way that we reach people at the moment.
Yep. So again, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we will see you next week. And again, sign up for us on our website. Sign up for our updates on the website, and see you next week.
See you online.